Welcome to another spectacular news from the Kansas City Chiefs, dear fan. Show your support, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon to receive all updates first. For most teams, losing 4 out of 6 games would make them virtually non-threats for the top spot in the conference. The Kansas City Chiefs' mix of pedigree, a 6-1 start to the season, tiebreakers, and a bit of luck somehow kept them in the figurative and mathematical race. In the first of 4 consecutive games against backup quarterbacks to end the regular season, Andy Reid's team delivered. The away victory on Sunday against the New England Patriots was good, but the result itself may be more important than anything that happened during the game. For the first time, the outcome mattered much more than the process. Kansas City's biggest win in Week 15 was staying in the hunt for the top spot in the playoffs and the only bye in the AFC's first round. After Week 14, the Chiefs had just lost to the Buffalo Bills, and the Miami Dolphins suffered a crushing last-minute defeat to the Tennessee Titans. This left the current top seed, the Baltimore Ravens, with a 52% chance of securing the first place. Behind them were Miami with 24% and Kansas City with 20%, solid odds, but indicative of teams with some work to do. Doing your own work is only part of the equation. Other teams also have to do theirs, with luck being the other crucial element. The Chiefs didn't benefit from that in Week 15, which is why they absolutely needed to win anyway. Miami bounced back in style with a surprising 30-0 victory over the New York Jets. On Sunday Night Football, Baltimore triumphed over the Jacksonville Jaguars, winning by 16 points. Coming out of Week 15, the Chiefs find themselves essentially in the same position as they were at the beginning of the week. According to the New York Times playoff simulator, the Ravens now have a 75% chance of securing a bye. The Dolphins and Chiefs, despite being a win apart, check in with 12% each. This is a perfect example of why it's hard to dig yourself into a hole and expect to get out of it without external help. From Kansas City's position, there's a fairly clear path, though not very likely. First and foremost, Reid's team needs to win. One could argue that if the Chiefs can't defeat the Las Vegas Raiders, Cincinnati Bengals, and Los Angeles Chargers in order, they probably don't deserve the number 1 position anyway. However, for the sake of the race, let's assume that happens. Along the way, dependence on other teams influences the scenario. Since Kansas City defeated Miami in Week 9, they have a head-to-head tiebreaker. The Dolphins must lose one of the last 3 games, at home against the Dallas Cowboys, at the Ravens, and at home against the Bills. Baltimore must lose 2 games, at the San Francisco 49ers, closing at home against Miami and the Pittsburgh Steelers, for the Chiefs' conference tiebreaker to kick in. In this scenario, all 3 teams finish the season with a 12-5 record, and Patrick Mahomes doesn't need to play a playoff game away from home. The Chiefs have some things working in their favor, even in a somewhat precarious position. Miami and Baltimore still having to play in Week 17 is huge, and both teams' remaining schedules are far more challenging than Kansas City's. Of the other 4 opponents they face, all are either competing or have secured playoff spots. It's a relatively daunting list that gives Mahomes and company some hope they wouldn't normally have while being 2 games back with 3 to go. After Sunday's win, the Chiefs were unwavering in taking things week by week and aiming for progress in time for the postseason. They aren't focused on odds, scenarios, or timelines. Regardless of how everything unfolds, they won't have a good postseason run if they don't eliminate some of the mistakes that happened once again in Week 15. A bye has its benefits, but it doesn't mean much if the team's quality doesn't match the ranking. Kansas City will focus on the former and figure out if the latter improves along with it. Don't forget to leave your opinion because it's important for this work, so tell us what you thought of today's video. Show all your support, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet, and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any updates.